Before I was reliable. And when the station went to lockdown, everyone did.
Scene 1. The hiring. Ambassador Serai of the Velketh Diplomatic Reach had standards for her security detail. She had traveled to 11 systems in the past 4 years, representing the Velketh government's interests in trade negotiations, boundary disputes, and the kind of interstellar diplomacy that required presenting an appearance of complete confidence at all times regardless of what was actually happening. Her standard security detail was 4 Velketh guards, trained, vetted, familiar with her protocols. 3 of them had been detained at the Nexus Station customs point on a documentation error that nobody believed was accidental. The 4th had developed a medical situation that was genuine, unfortunately timed, and completely unhelpful. Which was why Serai was standing in the Nexus Station security contractor office at 0700, which was not where she had expected to be standing, looking at the one available contractor on the board. The file was brief. Former military, human Earth systems. Current occupation. Independent security contractor. References. 3, all from clients who described him in variations of the word reliable without elaborating, which was either reassuring or concerning depending on how you read the absence of detail. His name was Marcus Vale. He was sitting in the waiting area when she looked through the glass. Black suit, black shirt, black tie, the kind of stillness that is not boredom but attention pointed inward. He looked like a man who was waiting because he had decided to wait, not because he had no other options. She told the office she would take him. Scene 2. The first hour. Marcus Vale did not talk much, which Serai found initially professional and eventually something else she couldn't name. He walked beside her through Nexus Station's diplomatic wing with a specific quality of presence that she had noticed, in 11 systems of travel, belonged to very few people. The presence of someone who is not performing alertness but is simply alert, at a level that appears restful until you realize how much it isn't. He assessed every room they entered before she stepped through the door. He knew, she realized, where every camera was, where every exit was, and where every person in any given space was positioned, within approximately 30 seconds of entering. He did this without looking like he was doing it. "How long have you been doing this?" she asked at the end of the first hour. "Security work. 3 years. And before?" A pause of exactly 1 beat. Not evasive, just considered. "Something else," he said. She did not push. She had spent 4 years learning to read when a door was temporarily closed versus permanently locked, and this had the quality of the former. Scene 3. The failure. The emergency began at 1340 hours. Not gradually. Which was the thing about station failures that people who had never experienced one didn't understand. They did not announce themselves. They did not build. One moment the station was functioning, and the next moment every display on every wall in every corridor was red. And the sound that filled the air was the sound of a station's warning system doing the thing it was designed to do, which was tell people in the most direct possible way that something was seriously wrong. System failure. Sector 4 evacuate. The corridor filled immediately with the particular chaos of a large number of people who are all trying to move in the same direction at the same time and have not agreed on the details. Serai felt Marcus's hand on her arm. Not gripping, not pulling, just present, a point of contact that said stay with me without saying anything. "What is it?" she said. "Reactor containment issue in Sector 4, he said, as if he had already known this was a possibility and had prepared for it. "We need to move." "Not that way." He nodded away from the main corridor crush. "Service passage. 30 feet to the left." "How do you know there's a service passage?" "I mapped the station when we arrived," he said. She stared at him. "I always map the station when we arrive," he said, as if this was something everyone did. Scene 4. The service passage. The service passage was narrow, functional, and critically, moving in the right direction with none of the crush of the main corridor. Marcus moved through it like water through a familiar channel, which told her he had not only mapped it but had walked it, at some point during the hour she had spent in the diplomatic reception preparing for the afternoon session. "You walked the passages," she said, keeping pace. "I walk the passages," he confirmed. "Every site. Your file said you were a security contractor for 3 years. Yes. No security contractor maps every service passage of every station they work." Another one-beat pause. "No," he agreed. "They don't." They came out into the secondary evacuation corridor, wide, less crowded, moving efficiently toward the docking ring. He had brought them out precisely where they needed to be. She looked at him. "What did you do before?" she said. "And I'm asking directly this time." He looked at her for a moment. Silver eyes. She noticed them properly for the first time in the emergency lighting, pale and precise. "Earth Systems Special Operations," he said. "Tier 1. 12 years." Serai understood enough about human military classifications to understand what Tier 1 meant. She understood enough about the term Deathworld, applied to Earth in every xenobiology database in the Accord, to understand what 12 years of Tier 1 operations from a Deathworld produced. She looked at the man walking calmly beside her through a station emergency like it was a Tuesday afternoon. "Your references said, reliable," she said. "That's accurate," he said. Scene 5. The complication. They were 40 feet from the docking ring when the complication arrived. 3 individuals. Not panicking, not evacuating, moving counter to the crowd with a specific purposefulness of people who were there for a reason that had nothing to do with the emergency. One of them looked at Serai with a particular recognition of someone who has been given a target and has found it. Marcus saw them before she finished processing what she was seeing. What happened next lasted 11 seconds. She would not be able to describe it in any detail that did justice to it. Not because it was too fast to see, but because the mechanics of it were so efficient that they seemed to remove several steps that she had assumed were necessary.